Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no love and that's fine. Fuck local radio stations, I got more plays than all of these rappers combined. I'm going again, I've been going in, I'm fed up with so many things. I gotta just let it all out, I'm talking about the shit they've been talking about. Telling me I should do this, telling me I should do that. Telling me things about rap. Talking the truth and that stab in my back, they will knock me off track, people below.
I've been keeping real, I've been doing what I feel. I've been out here trying to kill every beat, I know I will. Everything I'm working on, every night another song. They've been quiet all along, they gon' notice when I'm gone.
Welcome once again. This is the season finale. You have been with us episode 1 through 9. We've had a few different special guests. We've had 2 parts of a Fletch controversial interview, and we've shot on several topics that you people have quite enjoyed. I want to thank everybody that's been with us 1 through 9. This is 10. And today we got JJ, but he ain't here. He ain't here to be quizzed or tested. Apparently, I'm in the hot seat
Shoes
today.
on the other foot today. The Jordan's on the other foot today.
Thanks, Mark Fletcher. So, apparently, JJ has sat down with some other people. They got some questions they're going to throw at me. They're going to put Chris Jones in the fire. So, as Pat Benatar said, hit me with your best shot.
All right. I hope you're ready for it, Bob.
I think that was Pat Benatar.
Hit me with your best. Yeah, Pat Benatar. Fire away, buddy. All right. In your opinion, Chris Jones, starting off easy. What is the current state of XCW right now?
Current state of XCW. As you've heard from previous episodes, we've had a lot of issues with the weather, which I agree.
Very true.
Currently, with the last couple of shows, have turned out really well that we've had.
I agree. 100%.
The show we recorded the day before this episode was a heater.
Oh yeah, it was a great show.
All the matches were even Stevie Goble had a good match, and if Stevie Goble had a good match, the show can't get much better than that.
I agree, dude. I agree.
Currently, there's been some talks about, as of this recording, other promotion starting up. Possible chance for wrestlers here and there to be able to work both promotions, but the Fletch, Hazard, and Chris Jones have all been through the same fucking pony show. We know how it's gonna go. So currently it's good. Mm-hmm. My prediction is, I think it could turn out pretty bad. I'm hoping that we don't get put in a similar situation with until the end, because that really pissed me off. But currently the state is fucking excellent.
Good. I like to hear that. We'll get into more until the end later. All right. We have heard you speak of injuries. How does your body feel right now, and why do you continue? You know, you've been doing XCW for quite a while, wrestling for quite a while. Why do you continue to do these crazy bumps, these crazy spots? Put yourself in these positions.
Well, personally, in my opinion, the key to great matches would be, obviously, you've probably watched wrestling. It's all about telling a story. Mm-hmm. It's all about, some people call it art. A lot of times when they reference Jeff Hardy, they call what he does art. So I think when I go out there to wrestle my matches, I think, what can I do to top what I did the show before? Recently I tried a new move a couple shows ago. It's called Spiral Tap. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's a little rocky. It's the first time I've done it. So plans for near future is, at some point, I'm going to try that move again. I'm going to make it sicker than what I did before. Chris Jones could be considered the king of TLC. Barring outside interference, storylines, I've never been beaten, regardless of what Corey Lee says.
Yeah.
I have no problem bumping on a ladder. Obviously, it hurts. As of this recording, I did a spot with Jason Arcane previously where I was zip-tied, and everything hurt. He stabbed me with a screwdriver, my face smacking the ring and the table. That was my face. That wasn't hands coming down. And the reason I put my body through it is because I always want to see the look on Fletch's face. Like, if you ever watch, because obviously he's outside producing stuff or whatever, if he's got to communicate.
Of course.
If you ever look up, like, watch the next big Chris Jones match after this recording.
Okay.
Watch when I take a stupid bump I probably shouldn't do. I roll over, I look to see Fletch Hazard's reaction, because obviously I continually want to impress them.
Okay, I can
A
see
lot of
that.
people really don't care, but I feel like I need to go out and impress Fletch and Hazard and keep showing Chris Jones has still got it. Like, I can still
Okay.
hang with everybody. But that's why I put my body through it. And to answer the first part is, my body's not good. I don't play LOL, I don't play Psycho very much anymore, and I don't play Joker, which I've played all 4.
Mhm.
I played Grim Reaper once. I've had to tone down a lot. As we get older, my body doesn't heal as fast as everybody thinks it does. So, recently suffered an injury a while back. I was playing Psycho Circus, and I believe it was Dark Carnival versus The Revolution, James Gerke and Carnage.
Okay.
And I took a really nasty bump, and a scorpion landed on my face and hurt my neck. And I never went to the doctor to get it taken care of. I have an aunt that's a nurse, so I kind of just had her check me out, and she said I was okay, but it's still not getting the necessary attention that I probably should have got.
I understand.
But my body's not healing as fast, and Fletch can agree, Hazard can agree. We're older, they don't heal as fast, so I probably shouldn't put my body through it, but I do it for the storytelling, the art, and I always want to impress Fletch and Hazard, Tommy, everybody. I feel like I need to impress people. Keep my status.
I'd expect nothing less, Chris Jones. I'd expect nothing less. Well, I know I've heard you ask everybody this question, so I only felt it fitting we had to ask you as well. Anyone you dislike or even hate in XCW, and anyone you may not necessarily want to work with again?
2 parts there.
Yeah.
When I recorded my free time interview with James Keane, my answer was Corey Lee, I believe. I hated Corey Lee. As I've grown to know Corey Lee, I don't have hate for him.
Okay.
I dislike how he treats some people backstage. I don't know what that stems from. Personally, backstage, I joke around genocide, tell me he's Lou Wade, he's fat, sour cream and lettuce.
We all do.
But I'm not like, hey Venom, you fat piece of shit, you need to fucking go do this, go sit down, go shut the fuck up. That's not what I do. It's not how I conduct myself. So, mainly, I don't hate Corey Lee. I like Corey Lee. I just dislike how he treats others. And James Cerebral.
We haven't heard in a while.
We used to be, I would say, kind of close, but being able to wrestle James Cerebral and saying he can keep up with Chris Jones, and he begged and begged and begged. He wanted to match with Chris Jones. Fletch gave it to him. Jumped off first, broke his leg. That's not why I don't like James Cerebral very much. But obviously, our feud I think was really lackluster. We had the really great I Quit match at SummerMania, which was really fucking amazing.
It was a great match.
I don't like him because he didn't stick around XCW. Like, he's one of the people that came in, fucked us. He's not here right now. And when I was incarcerated, I was with Allison Moss, and she was messed up on pills one night, and he made out with her. So,
Oh, buddy.
so kind of.
I love that. Thanks, James Cerebral. Ooh.
But like I said, if James Cerebral came back, I wouldn't let that affect anything in the ring whatsoever. So
Very professional, very professional. All right, on to the next one then. Countless times, speaking of disappeared from XCW, you have also disappeared from XCW for various reasons, whether it be retiring or whatever. Was there anything that maybe led to that? Was it just you tired of wrestling, or was there, maybe other extenuating circumstances that maybe contributed to that decision?
all right. After I answer this, we're going to cut to our first break. There's been one instance where I was for sure retiring.
Okay.
And we'll get to that in a second. 2009, I believe, and I'm sure I'll be corrected later on if I'm wrong. I love wrestling. I mean, I'm very blessed to have met Josh Fletcher and Hazard, because I have other people to be able to share something that I love with. Because people that I was hanging out with when I was younger, they didn't really care about wrestling. I mean, I was the weird kid wearing the fucking Goldberg or the Stone Cold shirt in the fucking class while everybody's wearing polos, and little kid, Baby Gap and Hollister and all that fucking stuff.
The pink shit.
So, being able to share something like that, I love wrestling, so don't get me wrong.
100%.
A lot of people say that they've never had that one moment where they thought about giving it up. I believe everybody at one point in time has thought about hanging up the boots, so to speak.
Okay.
2009, I believe, was probably the highlight of Chris Jones and Cynical's, Ryan Hallgar's friendship.
Okay.
He was dating somebody named Kendra, I was dating somebody named Jill, and we were partying a lot. Like, a lot that was making me seem as bad as my mother. Like 5, 6, 7 nights out of the week. And you can ask Josh, before this I never really fucking partied. I never really drank. The occasional underage kid little party or whatever.
Yeah.
Like 5, 6, 7 nights out of the week. So we were partying a lot. And we were getting burnt out on having to fucking go to wrestling shows every fucking Saturday. I went to a wrestling show drunk.
That's a no-no.
Drunk. Like, and I can wrestle drunk. Don't get me wrong. I can wrestle fucking drunk. I did a nasty-ass wrestling spot with Fletch in the middle of Kendra's house when I was drunk. So, I wanted to hang it up then. I wanted to stop wrestling then because all I wanted to do was drink, party, and fuck. Gonna be serious.
Just say
Drink,
honesty. Honestly,
party,
what it's all about.
Drink, party, and fuck. Like I banged in every room of Kendra's house except for her bedroom.
Wait a minute.
So, there's that. But the only serious time I ever considered retirement was when I did the Glory Union show. I wrestled in a national ladder match, I believe, and I lost. I believe Corey Lee won. Correct me if I'm wrong later on. And led on to the match with Austin, and this is the way I wanted to go out. It was a fucking perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, Chris Jones, EBW rematch.
Right.
Gabe comes
man.
out. Gabe comes out. Nobody expects Gabe to come out. And hits Austin. Chris Jones wins 1, 2, 3. I can go out with glory.
Mm-hmm.
I was done.
Yeah.
I was ready then. And then I came to the next show because I love wrestling. I wanted to watch. I'm standing next to Hot Rod Sr.
Hot Rod.
I don't know who it was, but it was the show right after Glory. It was a John Streets match. Don't know who he was wrestling, but Hot Rod's like, "The fuck are you doing staying over here with me?" I said, "I'm just here to watch the show, man." He's like, "You're really gonna let shit like this happen?" And you just got to picture fucking, like, it was a bad match with John Streets, and you know, he talked to me, and like Ronnie's like, "You getting the itch yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of got the itch." And he went backstage, ran to Josh, saw Chris is ready to come back, and we did the spot where I came on, I super kicked Josh, whatever, and I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I have a way that I want to go out, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But that was the only time that Chris Jones had ever really planned to retire.
Okay.
But after that question, we're going to cut to our first break. We'll be right back. What do you think the current state of XCW is?
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night.
Who do you think is the worst XCW superstar ever? A lot of people would say you have a short fuse.
I understood what you were wanting to do with it. I did. But I probably would have killed you.
Flips him off and another one. That's
one.
it.
This
That's
is it. Put it down.
I was about to say, I'm ready to ring that bell. This is over. Are you serious?
Chaos with the kick out.
Unbelievable.
What the? Who is this?
The Gabe. The Gabe.
Who is this?
The Gabe.
Who is
the
this?
EBW. Oh my lord.
Who is this guy?
He's the Gabe. He was an old manager of EBW. He was the Chris Jones's right-hand man. Oh my Jesus.
He looks like he's got a decision to make. Oh, he just laid out Chaos.
On Austin, Chaos chooses Chris Jones. Chooses his EB. Oh my lord. He got the EBW shirt on too. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. The Gabe comes out in a surprise finish. Hits Austin Chaos with the belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Chris Jones.
Unbelievable.
And we're back. Going back to our special host, JJ.
Yes, sir. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, one word answer or short. You know, you can elaborate a little bit. It is your show. You know how it is. If you had to pick one, who of all time would you say is probably the most improved wrestler?
All right. Funny thing is, I believe I told Fletch one word answer, and he gave me 3. So I'm gonna give you 3.
All right.
Number 1.
Okay.
With his time in XCW, the most improved superstar from the time that he started that I know of to the time he finished with Dylan Bostic.
Okay.
Number 1 most improved superstar.
Okay.
Little kid, little girly voice, scared to take stuff. He tried to hit Fletch with papers. He left in the middle of the match, angered Fletch, left me to take, I'll call them stiffs. Like, he stiffed me pretty good with slamming the trash can on me. If you look at some of the stuff that he did right before he left, it was fucking amazing. He had a match with Fletch right before he ended, probably one of my top favorites in XCW.
Okay.
And the last promo he did in XCW where he blasted DTC with the chair, just Dylan's camera work and his matches right before he left, fucking amazing. Number 1, Dylan Bostic. Number
Okay.
2, Brendan Stickle.
Ooh, okay.
From the time that I know of, because obviously me and Fletch have watched many shows, we talked a lot about wrestling. Cruiserweight, little kid, the annoying stepbrother. He's mentioned it himself on previous episode.
Yeah.
For him to be able to go from that to his back or neck injury to announcing, being diagnosed, come back Austin's tag team, and to be able to rival Chris Jones as a heel. Like, Brendan Stickle is a fucking amazing heel. To be able to rival Chris Jones as a heel, Fletch as a heel, Tommy as a heel. His promos are really fucking good, and his matches are good. He's had a couple bad matches, but we all have. Brendan Stickle, number 2. Number 3 is a tie.
Okay.
Chris Jones.
You got to throw yourself in there. I like it. Okay.
Fletch.
Ooh, okay.
I couldn't cut a promo for shit. My worst promo ever is a promo about a TLC match with Vapor, and what I said I was going to do in the promo, I didn't even do. And it led to probably one of the longest matches in XCW history. And I've just been able to capitalize and improve in promos over the year, and a lot of people answer that the best superstar of all time is Chris Jones, and that's only because we all sucked back then. Every fucking one of us sucked. So for them to be able to, they state that they think that I'm the best super, I appreciate that. But we all fucking sucked. And then I say Fletch because he is a Kid Rock, cocky, like he had 2 or 3 moves in his arsenal, but he had an amazing idea for Nemesis to come back as that. If that would have happened, I think that would have blown everybody out of the fucking water at the time. He changed his move arsenal. He's got the Truth and Consequences, the Pain and Agony, the Agony Drop. He's even got the Final Breath now. And his promos are way better than the old Peep shows from 2004. He's got amazing fucking promos. And you put Genocide Chris Jones and Fletch in a promo where we're all talking shit to each other, fucking perfect. So
Great.
Dylan Bostic, Brendan Stickle, me and Fletch.
Okay, I'll give you that. I like it. Good answers. All right. In previous episodes, you mentioned you've had a couple episodes of Fletch. You know, in those episodes, you mentioned Fletch's dark times.
Yes.
Everybody's had dark times. We know this.
Yes.
What are some dark times for Chris Jones? And, you know, was there a specific... I know I've heard talk about this bridge incident, you know. What are some specific dark times in your life?
There's actually a couple, to be honest.
Okay.
Obviously, the bridge incident, Fletch mentioned he was having a hard time with the relationship that he's in currently, and thinking some bad thoughts. I mean, had a whole bunch of good stuff going on. Well, Chris Jones didn't have anything really good going on at the time. Had a lot of relationship issues. My parents weren't really in the picture, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a question at some point about my parents.
Count on it.
But they weren't really in the picture. Like, my mom dropped me off at my dad's doorstep when I was 3. She didn't want me then. She wants me after all the work's done. My dad did all the work. Got in trouble for drugs and all that stuff, and we'll get in that later question.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really down about everything. I worked at Wendy's. I mean, as much as I pump up that Wendy's was fun to work at, I worked at Wendy's. I never really had any money. Relationships were bad, and the easiest way to handle stuff is just to end it. And when I was a kid, there was another incident with my dad. Something that had happened. I wouldn't say it was super. It was pretty bad, but like I thought about doing something back then and harming myself to take care of that, so to speak. But I've had a few moments.
We all have, like I said, ladies and gentlemen. All right, then moving on. Like you said, you mentioned your relationship issues. You know, women you have been involved with in the past, you know, some of them have liked XCW, some of them have not. And, you know, the jury's out on that one. But is this the reason some of your relationships maybe don't last as long? Maybe you put XCW first or Chris Jones first? What was it? What was the issue? What stemmed some of these relationship issues?
Well, up until recently, XCW has always been first.
Okay.
Always. And I've always put Chris Jones first to a point. There was a time where I was dating this one girl, and Fletch came by. Hazard, the only one that driving at the time, by the way. He's like, well, we're going to have a practice. I'm like, I'm fucking down. Girlfriend's still fucking, I'm down. I say, I'll be back later or something like that. I didn't talk to her for 2 weeks. So probably putting Chris Jones or XCW first quite a bit. Probably cut down on a lot of relationship times. I had a really good relationship in high school. Probably one of the points in life that I regret. Obviously, she wasn't a dime piece, so to speak, but she was what Chris Jones liked.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
I dumped her for wrestling and to date the girl across the street.
Ooh.
So there was a chance where we might have been able to reconcile, but
just the Chris Jones show, you know?
Just didn't reckon. Like, I was a lot more grown up when we went to reconcile, but at that point she had 2 kids or whatever, and it's a lot more complicated then.
I can understand that. All right. Anyone on the XCW roster that maybe you haven't had the chance to work with or not as much as you would like to, that you maybe would like to work with in the future? You know, maybe a little bit more.
I'm really enjoying Jason Arcane right now. My goal, Fletch asked me, pretty much always happens like this. Something happens, he's like, oh, Chris, you get this option or this option. What do you want to do? I had the chance to work with Patrick or Jason. Nothing against Patrick, because I had an amazing match with Patrick where he beat me for the New Age title. But I chose Jason Arcane. I figured Jason Arcane needed, we'll say, the push.
Okay.
And because I'm going to say he was a nothing. And not that he wasn't good at wrestling. I'm going to say you didn't know if he's a bad guy, you didn't know if he's a good guy. So I feel what me and Jason have been able to capitalize on with zip tying me to the ropes, attacking me, zip tying me backstage, beating my ass. I don't know when this will be posted, but they'll see how Jason Arcane, Chris Jones feud ends up culminating. But Jason Arcane, but I want to work with Hazard and Fletch again.
Okay. Anyone you necessarily haven't worked with that you would like to in the future?
I've wrestled everybody on the roster. So we have a new guy coming in. I don't know what his name is. He's Irish.
Brogan O'Shea, I believe is
Brogan O'Shea.
Is who it is.
I haven't had a chance to work with him, but I have wrestled everybody in some way or another. Like I said, I don't know when this is going to be posted, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be working with Venom a little bit. And if not, I know I'll be working with him down the road. So I pretty much worked with everybody.
Okay.
But like if it's, like you said, people I've worked with, I want to do again is Fletch. Because there's a lot of moves that he doesn't do that I don't know if people are afraid to take them or if he's afraid he'll break them. Because right now he's wrestling DJ Walburton. He ain't a big guy.
That's true.
But he's got the Truth and Consequences, and I fucking love that move. The suplex into the stunner. And me and Hazard beat the fuck out of each other. So, like I said, Hazard and Fletch.
All right, okay, moving on then. You did mention your parents. How, maybe the lack thereof of your parents, and how did the negative influence out on your childhood, how has that, positively or negatively impacted your wrestling career up until this point?
It's hard to say. I'll give a quick spiel. When I was born, my mom was real young. She got pregnant at 15, had me at 16. She lived with her mom, my grandma, probably the most important person to me, just like Genocide's dad was to him. But I was 3. She dropped me off at my dad's doorstep, nothing but underwear and a t-shirt. And I'm not going to say my dad didn't have a part, but it was a complicated situation where my mom didn't really allow my dad to have much part in my life at the time. So my dad was married to big-timer Chase Jones' mom at the time. Okay. And him not being born yet, obviously, because I was 3. But they took me in, they bought me clothes, they spoiled me. Chase was born. split it evenly.
Yeah.
And then at some point they got divorced. Probably the biggest positive influence out of those three people, probably Chase's mom.
Okay.
She's not related to me whatsoever, but her family's my family. I go to Thanksgiving, their holidays. They're my family. Fletch's mom has an impact on Chris Jones' wrestling career, to be honest. And Fletch's dad. And Fletch's grandma. And probably Ryan Hogarth's mom, not necessarily wrestling career, but kind of keeping me out of trouble, so to speak. But like, I was a bad little fucking kid. I got in trouble all the time. I threatened to kill a whole bunch of people in 4th grade. One of them being a cop's daughter. My dad took me to the police station. I spent like 20 minutes in a holding cell. They tried to break me of my bad habits. I grew out of the phase when I was in middle school. That's when I kind of started doing my own thing. I think BYWE was back then, so I was starting to come into like friends with Fletch, have knowledge of them, and then we started XCW 2004, and they fucking hated me. I was a fucking douche. I was a dickhead, a douchebag, and I was almost fired my first show in XCW for being a fucking douchebag. I kept interfering in a match. I don't know what Fletch seen in me to bring me in XCW. I don't know if I was just another body, or he thought I was good, or because I had the kid-size Intercontinental title. I don't know what it was, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I probably would have been in trouble or into drugs or something, because I would have had more free time not wrestling. Fletch's mom, like, she's probably the most straight-up motherfucker that I know. If you're a dumbass, she's going, hey, stop being a fucking dumbass, idiot. His grandma and his mom provided me with food at times. I at some point had moved in with Fletch, kind of, because of school, and it was when my dad got addicted to meth and stuff, and ended up serving time. Me and my dad have a good relationship now. I don't have a relationship with my mom. I consider my stepmom probably my primary parent, and I consider Fletch's mom probably a pretty good parent too. And like I said, Ryan Hogarth's mom, I just hung out with him and Josh, and kind of just stayed out of trouble. Ended up moving out, graduating on my own. Chase's mom paid for all my graduation stuff. And that's why I'm here today.
And talk a little bit real quick before we move on about someone who actually has been an XCW member of your family. About Tim. Old Tim.
Oh, I can't forget about Tim. If it wasn't for Tim, you wouldn't have Chris Jones in XCW. He is the primary person that got me. You could say I was born into fucking Starrcade or whatever wrestling show was on at the time. He's a fucking Stone Cold fan, true and true. He took me in probably my high school career, and like when my mom was out drinking on the weekends, she was drinking a lot, let's be honest. She was never picked me up on time. It was always my grandma until she was killed, and then it was my uncle. And my uncle we hung out the pool hall. My uncle's been a part of XCW's, was part of EBW. My friends are friends with my Uncle Tim. They like him. He's became all religious-like and churchy recently. I'm still a die-hard wrestling fan, so I probably wouldn't have graduated and be an XCW if it wasn't for him as well. I almost forgot about him until you mentioned him.
Don't worry. We got Tim here, don't worry. Moving on then. I know you've been waiting for this question. You knew it was going to come up. What are your feelings on the VCAs? Why do you think it's rigged, untruthful, if you will?
Let me take a drink before I answer this.
Get ready, XCW Galaxy.
When VCAs first started, I thought it was a killer fucking idea. Obviously the Slammies were a good idea. We were capitalizing for XCW as another fucking show, add an extra aspect, most hated, most loved. It was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was straight up from the beginning. Fast forward through times, there's tiebreakers. And usually, Fletch, I think Hazard at the time, they reserved most of their votes to kill tiebreakers.
Okay.
Because if we end up with tiebreakers, and there's no one to kill a tiebreaker, then you just have a fucking tie. It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. I can understand that.
I never realized how good friends that like Hazard and Fletch were back then, because this was 2005, 2004, 2006 when they were the tiebreaker votes. And I always thought that they were just going to vote for whoever they liked, to be honest. Like, it's obviously Fletch and Cynical were probably better friends than me and Fletch. They've known each other since they were in diapers. I've only known Fletch for 20 plus years. He's known Cynical for 29 years, pretty much. Him, DTC, and Cynical grew up together. Fast forward, I don't like VCAs anymore, to be honest. It's still a great idea, but with, I'm going to call them scrubs. We have certain people that bring their gangs, their scrubs. So obviously, they're going to vote for them regardless. Like, I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Tommy Merriman won Superstar Year last year. I believe it was last year. That was an appropriate winner. I would have agreed. Tommy, myself, or Fletch would be the three choices for that. But, do you know who the number 2 leading vote candidate was?
I do not. Do you?
James Cerebral.
Really?
Do you know what James Cerebral did after Chris Jones?
Should I? No, I don't.
That's my point.
I think that's where you're going.
You think of all the people that people like Tommy draw the shows, James Cerebral draw the shows. There are specific certain reasons Chris Jones doesn't bring people to the shows. We're not going to get into those specific reasons. But if I had the scrubs or the groupies or anything that I was bringing to the show, I would get all the votes too. James Cerebral did not deserve to be the second leading vote person, in all honesty. So I don't like VCAs anymore.
Okay.
Whereas I probably don't think it's so-called rigged. I think it could be handled better. I think like the core XCW group should be the ones who vote on every category.
Okay.
Like it should be Fletch, it should be Hazard, it should be Genocide, and myself.
Okay.
We should come to unanimous decision on who we think should win.
Okay. I like that.
I think that would be better because, like, I think recently we had where he was posting some stuff on Facebook or something. You can go on there and vote multiple times. Well, if Chris Jones was without the internet, I can go on there and vote multiple times too. But, like I said, I believe it should be the core people because no one knows more about XCW than Fletch, Genocide, Hazard, Chris Jones.
I probably agree with you on that one. I know the story, but I haven't been here as long as you guys have. I haven't been a part of it. So, Fletch, if you're listening, no scrubs. We don't want no scrubs. TLC up in this bitch. All right. We're going to the next question then. Have you in the past, or do you, personally slit another wrestler's throat for, to advance yourself in position? Have you ever been a crybaby for XCW position? To get something maybe I wouldn't say you shouldn't have gotten, but to advance yourself, and maybe someone other deserved it as well. It's the thinker, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't think of anything, but I'm very adamant about my opinion. Like, a lot of people don't speak up to Fletch. I do. A lot of my ideas get shot.
True.
And, like, I feel like he has more respect for me inside XCW now because he takes a lot more of my ideas, like, to mind.
Okay.
Whereas it used to be mostly Fletch's ideas back in the day. I wouldn't say, like, I fucking slit someone's throat to get to the top because I'm usually the one who's like, well, I'm not saying he is, well, Tommy fucked us, Chris. I need to put you in this spot. I wouldn't say that's slitting somebody's throat, but I would say I'm always there to take. But like, I've been pitching. I'm gonna be honest. We're talking about post-Summer Mania storylines as of this recording, and we're at a loss for certain situations. And we've pitched the 3 primary ideas for Money in the Bank, and Fletch has had his vote, and they have a Facebook group, and everybody's pitched their vote for certain storylines. And I've pitched that I think Chris Jones should be one of the top contenders for Money in the Bank. I've also pitched that I agree with Patrick and Jason Arcane as well, as of this recording. So, I'm always honest. Like, if I feel like I deserve something, I'm going to voice it. If I feel somebody else doesn't deserve something, I'm going to voice it too. I say Venom doesn't deserve to be Money in the Bank winner. Nothing against Tommy, but we talked about this. Tommy is... This will be after Summer Mania, so obviously Tommy's going to win Mr. Summer Mania Cup. We already know this. Don't win Summer Mania Cup and Money in the Bank. It doesn't make sense.
I agree.
So I wouldn't say I slits people's throats, but I'm honest about every situation.
Okay. I like that. Well, we'll keep moving on then. What are your thoughts and opinions on New Era Wrestling and the All-Star situation? Was Fletch maybe wrong in the way he handled that whole scenario, that whole situation, or What were Chris Jones?
What do you
thoughts
mean
on that?
by him being wrong the way he handled it?
Basically, just the way it all went. He wanted people to go into this like, oh, hey, we can all do this as a group and it'll be okay. But obviously, we know how that turned out.
Honestly, we all know. I'm sure Fletch had an inkling that the same situation happened. That could happen. That happened in high school. I don't think he handled it bad at all. I mean, he probably had a feeling like the wrestlers are going to leave. Like, I think Brandon Hobbs is going to leave XCW, to be honest. I think he's going to go do Cousin Cooter, whatever his wrestling name is. I think he's going to leave XCW and go do that. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I think Fletch handled it the best way he could. He loves wrestling, so he probably had a feeling XCW was going to go under. Well, he had an opportunity to go on and do other stuff. Chris Jones' mistakes in the past prevented me from being able to go on with them. I'm not going to say I hate All-Star or NEW at all. I dislike how they did certain people, but if it wasn't for NEW, Chris Jones, Fletch, Hazard, I don't think I would be as good as I am today. They gave me certain training that I needed to protect myself, and probably the stupid stuff I've been doing in my career, I'd probably be done by now. But I know how to handle stuff, take stuff the right way, and honestly, Tom Van Zandt, I don't know their fucking real names, Tom Randolph, Troy Kennard, Hillbilly Jed, and all the people that I had a chance to work with, they helped me build a better wrestling knowledge. Whether they like us or they hate us, I might not like how they group me into categories of the wrestlers when they get mad at them, because I have absolutely nothing to do with New Era or All-Star because of legal issues. But Fletch handled it the best way he could.
I agree. He tried to do the best for his guys, and we know how the situation turned out. It didn't honestly go as planned.
Yes.
That's all history now. That's all history. All right. Talk about in the end. I know we talked about it earlier. What were your feelings going into it? Do you think maybe it was premature? Like maybe XCW shouldn't end? I think I know where you're going, because you said maybe XCW was going under in the last question. And maybe who was at fault? Was it at Fletch? Was it maybe Troy and Tommy? Was it All-Star? People just wanted something new? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I hated the whole show altogether. Not like it was bad matches or anything like that. Going into it, I knew that was my last hurrah. After this, there's nothing left for Chris Jones.
Yeah.
I feel like if XCW would have ended and they didn't do All-Star, I don't think a lot of those people would be involved with Fletch or Hazard. I believe, like I've said before, Brendan Stickle wasn't around until the end or whatever that I can remember. But like me, Fletch, Hazard, and Genocide, I feel like we'd be the only ones hanging out on Saturdays, watching old wrestling shows, talking about stuff to do. I didn't like the show. I didn't like the ending of the show. I thought it should have went a little bit differently. But ultimately, it would have still ended with Gurkey cashing in Money in the Bank. And I believe a lot of those people standing in the ring weren't telling the truth at the end of the show, to be honest.
Okay.
The people that were telling the truth, a couple of them couldn't talk, and you could see the emotions on Fletch's face. You could see the emotion on Hazard's face. I spoke what I felt. I spoke my mind. And I feel Connor at the time spoke his mind. But as Fletch said on his episode, I don't feel Ryan Grayson was honest. I don't think Corey Lee was completely honest either. But you could tell, like, if you just go back and watch certain people's emotions, you could tell who really cared about XCW, who wanted XCW to last. And like I said, Chris Jones' last hurrah, I hated the whole fucking show.
All right. That's what we're all about here, honesty on No False Finish, and I appreciate that. We're moving on now. Do you regret, obviously legal trouble withstanding, on the side here, do you regret choosing, staying with XCW rather than continuing maybe on a pro career? Because we could have seen Chris Jones, on a bigger stage, maybe, perhaps.
I've always said it, friends are forever, and I've always chosen my friends to at a certain point, to like where relationships came down to you gotta choose me or them. Well, it's always your friends. Going through the NEW days when we were in high school, they had 3 big prospects. Dylan, no, not Dylan, DTC, sorry, Genocide, myself. Dylan was young. He had the heart issues, so they didn't think Dylan was ever going to be able to do anything. Look what Dylan's doing now.
Right. Look at me now.
They ended up cutting Smiley off because he couldn't see without his glass. Like, they just did people wrong. It came down to a certain point. I actually got to do stuff in the show. Like, me and DTC did the spot where we got to come out and save Bobby Black, Kevin Schoolcraft. And we got beat up by Hillbilly Jet Indian Kid Jr. It's probably one of my most favorite wrestling moments ever. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. I got a match against Jeremy Gravier. I don't know if I'm wrong about his name, but he's not the Amish guy. It was after that he had dreads and everything, but his name's Jeremy. I had a match with Jeremy Gravier at one point. I got the chance to go to IPW. Me and Dylan got to wrestle around and practice with Crazy J and Lotus. We also got to do the same thing in NEW. We had a big match where everybody's around the ring. This Fletch was even involved in this and stuff, and we were just able to tag everybody in. So I got to work with Tom, I got to work with Troy, I got to work with a whole bunch of people. Me and Dylan and Benji actually had a triple threat match at one point in time. So I don't regret choosing them because in all reality, friends are forever. I was in high school. I was the last one. I'll say I was the last one standing. And like, if you ask Fletch the same question, it's that knife in the back, man. Friends last.
I agree, 100%. Moving on to one-word answer. Let's see if you can. Best wrestler of all time at XCW. From 2000, like you said, from 2003 all the way to now. Best.
Me.
You? 100%.
100%.
I think humble Chris Jones. But no, as on my show, I said the same thing. So we'll go on. 17. Any advice for anyone on the roster right now, past or present, really? Any advice you could give to anyone?
Never forget your roots. Speak up. Past episode, people have probably said some of the same answers. We don't know how good and creative you are unless you let us know. Like, Fletch is a lot more lenient on stuff now. Like, back in the day, it was like brick wall. Is Chris Jones ever going to get an idea through? And I kept speaking up. And everything with Jason Arcane so far, Fletch has loved. If you don't speak up, we don't know how good you are. Like, to be honest, I thought Corey Lee was going to be a flop, to be honest.
Okay.
He's in the cruiserweight division. We need to fill some spots. He had the long hair. I hope we can get that long hair somewhere on the footage.
Don't forget the emo days.
But like, some random kid sitting, I didn't know he liked wrestling. I didn't talk to him, didn't associate with him. I thought Corey Lee was going to be a flop. Look what Corey Lee's doing now. We would have known that if Corey Lee would have showed us what he can do. Just keep at it. Put the work in. Show up. I mean, we're here to help you. That's why I get paired with a lot of the newer guys. That's why I used to play the multi-characters. I did stuff with Chase Luther. I did stuff with Jesse Luther, Justin Insane. Let us know what you got ideas. We don't know your ideas. If you want moveset, you have something creative you want to do, you have a promo idea, we would love to hear it. Put the work in and let us help you.
I like that. Good answers. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention. All right, moving on here. Every place has drama, whether it be, a wrestling company, whether it be a group of friends, whether it be, a job. Every place has drama. It's human nature at this point, guys. It happens. XCW, like I said, being no exception. There's been times in the past where people have went after significant others. Maybe this person was dating this person and so-and-so made out with this person, You've went after, we know Fletch's significant other. You went out a Cynical's significant other. How has that impacted your XCW career, your friendships? Has that had a positive, negative, maybe a little bit of both?
First part, I don't think it's really impacted my wrestling career, to be honest.
Okay.
Fletch is always going to put the best foot forward. He knows he doesn't hold anything against Hazard. He doesn't really hold anything against me. He knows Fletch wants the best possible XCW product. That's common knowledge. His heart and soul is XCW. So Fletch is he's gonna do what's gonna make the best possible show. And I mentioned previously we're trying to determine storylines. He's gonna do what he thinks is gonna be best for XCW in the long run. Now, Sarah Dake, completely different story. I'm gonna get into details on Sarah Dake.
All right.
She's matured a lot. She used to be a floozy, as my great-grandma would say.
A floozy. Bringing it back to the 1800s. I like it.
I respect Sarah Dake as a person.
I graduated with her myself. I know her.
But, there's one party where Fletch and Cynical they might have had a chance to Eiffel Tower Sarah Dake. I'm just saying. There might have been a time where Fletch might have made out her finger. I don't know all the details.
Okay.
Now, my personal experience with Sarah Dake, obviously, she's been Cynical's on and off girlfriend, on and off enemy. She's been deemed one of the crows. But my personal experience was, I don't know exactly what was going on at the time, but I was interested in trying to go for Sarah Dake.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me one thing which surprised her. She's like, if you can convince Ryan, Cynical, if you can convince him to say yes, sure.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
So, I text Cynical. I'm like, hey, man. Obviously, I don't know where he was at with his Army career at the time. I don't know his time frames, but I was trying to date Rachel Davis at this time, which is Steve and Angie Davis's oldest daughter. And I was getting kind of tired of Rachel because I'm not going to call her a goody-goody, but she wasn't giving Chris Jones no play. He had went out on a couple dates and stuff, and I was getting fed up, and I had the chance to go for Sarah, so I text Cynical. I'm like, hey, man, I'm thinking about going after Sarah. Do you care? He's like, no, man, I don't care. Probably he did care.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he always... they always care.
But he didn't at the time, or I don't know, but that's what the text message said, so I went after Sarah Dake, and I fucking spoke the silver tongue, and ended up getting caught at 7 o'clock in the morning by Becky Lehman, which relayed the message to Rachel Davis, which instantly, bam, any chance of Rachel down the drain. Sarah Dake didn't believe that I liked her at the time, so I took her to my grandma's grave, and literally on my grandma's grave swore that I actually was serious about dating Sarah Dake.
That's intense.
Her family was talking about moving to Florida at the time, and I was just trying to spit the game or whatever. Oh, it can work, blah, 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 and ended up making out with her. All in all, David Delaney, God rest his soul, David Delaney had input on everybody. Whether they want to admit it or not, David Delaney was in everybody's business. And it didn't work out with Sarah Dake.
As we know.
She chose her friendship with Allison, which she probably should have in the first place. I probably should have chose my friendship with Josh and Ryan over anything like that in the first place. And now Ryan and Sarah are married.
Have kids.
Emily and Fletcher married. Has a kid. Well,
as a kid.
Has kids. Sarah and Cynical have one. She's not pregnant again. You said kids.
Oh, I apologize.
Like Fletch said on a previous episode, we've all tested the waters. We have such a close circle. Everybody's tested some type of water with this situation, with that situation. Whereas it has affected my wrestling career, I don't believe so. My incarceration when I was done. Do you know who picked Chris Jones up from jail? Who? Give one guess.
Was it Josh Fletcher?
It was Josh Fletcher.
I thought
Josh
so.
came to pick me up from jail. Like I've said previously, his family's been there for me. His mom, his dad, his grandma, his stepdad. His stepdad has no connection with me whatsoever.
Right.
Has been a positive influence for me. It's like we've all made choices that are negative choices, or that where we've regretted something. but I believe it's built us to the people that we are today. And Josh Fletcher is an amazing dad. He never thought he was going to have a kid. He proved him wrong.
Right?
We always
I beat it.
We always said Cynical was going to have the first kid. Well, that was wrong. Chris Jones gets drunk at the Talk K graduation party. 9 months later, oh, well, Chris, child support. Corey's yours. We've all grown up. We've all matured. We're all parents. We all have, I don't know what they would consider good jobs. Josh has a really good job. I believe he's going into management sometime in the near future. Cynical's in college, full-time, getting ready to get a part-time job. I mean, my job's not the greatest, but I like it.
Keeps food on the table, you know.
I don't think anything outside because Fletch is so professional, I'm so professional, Hazard, if Cynical were to come back professionalism, nothing affects wrestling.
So it didn't affect, nothing ever happened with Emily Moore? You just try to spit the game?
Just try to spit the game.
And it didn't affect your friendships at all?
I don't think it did.
Okay.
I still consider Josh Fletcher, Ryan Hogarth, and Roddy Moore my three, best friends ever out of anybody.
Okay. Well, when it comes to XCW, these hoes, in fact, are loyal, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Over the years.
Well, most of them.
Most of them. Okay. When it comes to Sarah and Emily, they are loyal. All right. In 2010, we're going to bring him back. UIW days. Mr. Justin Parsley. We got to plug him. Why did it seem maybe you put XCW on the back burner when you know XCW's always had your back for so many years? Fletcher, as you've said, always has had your back for so many years, and you went to the UIW.
Well, if you remember previously on a previous question, I said you always got to respect your roots where you came from. Justin Parsley and myself, I can't speak on anybody else's relationship, but personally, we're friends. We're not best friends, but we're pretty good friends. And if it wasn't for Justin Parsley and Roddy Moore in HCW and SBW, those days, there would be no Chris Jones in XCW. Chris Jones would never met Fletch. If Justin Parsley would never drafted some unknown kid that could do some crazy flips and shit in the 90s,
yeah,
I wouldn't be here shooting the show right now. So it goes back to what I said, you got to respect your roots. And BOW, and yes, XCW is always my primary number one. But Parsley came to me about doing a UIW show, whereas the knowledge about the other XCW wrestlers, I didn't know anything about that. I figured it was going to be like the 5 or 6 people that Justin's always had loyal to Justin. And now it'd be a little different if he were to come to me with an idea like, hey Chris, I'm going to do an XSW show or UPW, whatever he would come up with now. Like I said, we're best friends. We might try to get Parsley on season 2 maybe. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
But XCW is my number 1, but Parsley's number 2.
Okay. Well, I know you've talked about many companies throughout this show. Just this episode. BYWE, UIW, IPW, NEW. If you had to pick one, your favorite promoter, your favorite wrestling company to work for, who would it be?
Well, I've been involved with a lot, whereas wrestling with a lot, not quite.
Honesty. Honesty's key here.
There's been HCW, SBW, BYWE, XCW, EBW, NEW. I was involved with IPW. I just got to do a couple of training sessions, help them set the ring. And I never got to work with HPW, which I thought I was going to get the chance to do, which I didn't. XCW number 1, instantly. XCW number 1, UIW number 2, NEW number 3.
Okay. I like that. Nice little rundown. It wasn't just the best. It was a top 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Obviously, we know you're a big fan of No False Finish, your own show here. See, this is the end of season 1, the finale, if you will. There is going to be a season 2, I take it. And is Chris Jones, is he going to continue in XCW, or is it just going to be a no false finish sort of behind the scenes sort of thing? Is there a future in XCW for Chris Jones? Definitely in the next couple years, even.
Well, like I stated previously, I know how I want to go out. XCW ending soon. I don't think it's going to.
Okay.
But if I get the opportunity and time arises, and The one thing that would make Chris Jones leave is I don't have that wow factor. I'm no longer entertaining or relevant. Then it'll be time to ride off into the sunset. Whereas no false finish with Chris Jones, that's up to the powers that be.
I understand that.
I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, but like I said, if I can't perform to my fullest power, if I can't entertain Fletch, the primary person you got to entertain, if I can't entertain him or the people, and I'm no longer relevant, then it'll be time to hang the boots up.
Well, before we go, actually, you gave me a good idea here. I meant to touch on this a little earlier. You mentioned twice now your ideal way to go out. Would you mind sharing with us what that would be? If you could pick anything, your way to go out, what would it be?
2 different matches, these 2 matches.
Okay.
One is a TLC match.
Okay. The king of TLC is Chris Jones.
Career on the line.
Okay.
XCW Championship on the line.
Okay.
Fletch versus Chris Jones.
Ooh.
Fletch wins.
Fletch wins and puts Chris Jones down. Okay. Well, let you go down.
Hazard. Death match. Career versus career. Chris Jones loses. Those would be the 2 opportunities. There's no way to go out better than the people you've shared the majority of your life with. I mean, my relationship with Fletch wasn't quite so good when he was riding around, his little brother Colton riding around on a tricycle, and he's got fucking long-ass 80s band hair. I'm calling him a fat girl. But the relationships we've been able to develop over the year, there's no way better to go out than to go out in my match, being the TLC match, and no one to end the TLC reign of Chris Jones better than my best friend Josh Fletcher, or the death match, because it would give Hazard finally would be able to tie the knot with Chris Jones, so to speak. It would be a 2-2 in death matches, and Chris Jones could go out like that. 2 people in XCW I probably respect the most.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris Jones, for this. Allow me to ask you these questions, a glimpse into your life. You know, it's nice having the Jordans on the other foot, so to speak.
Well, there'd be nobody else better to host this show besides you or the Fletch.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, if you don't mind, we'll take it away.
Go ahead. That's you.
This has been a fantastic season of No False Finish. You've heard from Summer Mania 2 to the Farewell Show, from jumping off bridges, cars, making out with women, Olympic gold medalist announce teams. You've heard the ins and outs of everybody. And don't forget to go out and check XCW's Facebook page, xcw.com. Facebook.com/XCW Shelbyville. We also got our website, which is
xcwrestling1.wixsite.com.
Check out the YouTube page where all these videos are archived, along with XCW5, along with former episodes of the Shit Sheet, XCW Extras. You can find out everything. Fletch is currently in the process of posting all old XCW shows on there. You can go back and check out Sin 2004. You can check out any of those old shows you want to do so. And once again, thank everybody. Check out the XCW archives, and if the powers that be like No False Finish, we'll see if we're back for season 2. Message of Fletch on X. I said X Vlogs. What the fuck is wrong? You got me reeling, JJ.
I'm sorry, man.
Message Fletch on Facebook. Like Brendan Stickles' fan page. He's still got the fan page, right?
He does. A lot of wrestlers are getting a fan page on Instagram, Facebook.
Message Fletch. My Snapchat's seeing it, Chris Jones. If you got something you want to see, myself and the Fletcher are 2 people really working on the show. Brendan Stickles, the primary camera person. Let us know. Let us know what you want to see. And if Fletch likes us, he's the power be, to be honest.
Yeah. Agreed, 100%.
If Fletch likes us, we'll be back for season 2. If not, see you later.
Trying to kill every beat, I know I will. Everything I'm working on, every night another song. They been quiet all along, they gon' notice when I'm gone.
Everybody wanna copy you, but they're not you. Everybody wanna be cool, but they're not new. Whoa, look how I go. Gonna be a dentist, I still got the flow. Never gonna lose cause I'm still doing both. Never gonna lose cause I've been on the road. Come to your state and I'm killing the show. Know that I'm young and I still gotta grow. Know that I'm working the most, know I'm never gonna choke. And I'm looking back down on the people below.
I've been keeping real, I've been doing